Great Northwoods to the Rock Mount Coast and streaming live in HD worldwide at foxbangor.com. More people choose Good Morning Maine.
Today on Good Morning Maine, a woman is now facing manslaughter charges following a year-long investigation into the death of an infant.
Plus, a man caused nearly $100,000 worth of damage smashing cars at a car dealership in Maine.
And hundreds gathered on the Bangor waterfront to join in the struggle against suicide. Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Maine. I'm Emma Smith.
And I'm Craig Colson. Thank you for joining us on this Monday morning, the second official day of fall. Fall arrived yesterday, got up this morning, and it was the first day of the season I had to wear a jacket on the way into work. I don't know if you broke down and did the same thing. But
I've been wearing a jacket for about a week now. Yeah. The mornings have been chilly.
I hold off as long as I can, but it's down in the 40s this morning, and that's like looks like a page turn in a book.
Yep.
Fall is here. Things are going to be much cooler this week.
Yeah. So on that note, let's get a look at the forecast with meteorologist Devin Biggs.
Alrighty, thank you very much. Happy Monday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by SR1 Companies. Visit SR1 in Herman, Turner, Manchester, and Orono for the best prices on trailers, campers, tractors, heavy equipment, and more. SR1 Companies, where New England's largest selection meets unbeatable prices. Already, some areas of dense fog greeting us across parts of Washington County this morning. We'll get this fog out of here slowly but surely as we get the day going. We do have some clouds we'll also have to watch out for. We also have high surf advisories and small crowd advisories posted along the coast. Those are highlighted right about in here. This is a small crowd advisory, and that right there is the high surf advisory. The high surf advisory expires this evening further off to the south and west, with the small crowd advisory expiring at 8 p.m. as we head towards your Tuesday. Meanwhile, a quiet start in our neck of the woods this morning. Not a whole lot of cloud cover at this moment in time, but there will be more clouds on the way as the day progresses on. We're watching some activity further off towards the west. This will send some clouds in our direction, and later this week we will be watching for rain that will enter the picture too. Futurecast showing some clouds on the way today, maybe some sunshine peeking out at times. We'll hold on to the clouds overnight tonight. So moving forward, we'll have a little bit of wind on the way for us today, maybe up to around 5, maybe up to 10 miles per hour along the coast. Wind calms down tonight and not looking too bad for tomorrow either. The hourly forecast for the rest of the morning and afternoon period showing a mostly cloudy sky with temperatures in the 60s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up.
Thank you, Devin. We'll get another look at that forecast a little later on. Well, first thing this morning, an Oakland woman was arrested Friday in connection with the death of an infant over a year ago. According to the Maine State Police, 54-year-old Lisa Barney was charged with manslaughter. Police say the arrest stems from a year-long investigation into the death of a 4-month-old infant on September 8th of 2023. The incident occurred in Oakland on August 31st of 2023, and the death was later ruled a homicide following an autopsy on September 8th of 2023. Barney was indicted on Thursday by the Kennebec County Grand Jury. She's taken to the Kennebec County Jail, and bail was set at $100,000.
Well, meanwhile, authorities are still investigating the death of an inmate at the Somerset County Jail. The woman was discovered dead by jail staff late Friday night. According to the Morning Sentinel, the name of the inmate has not been released, and the state police is now investigating. That's part of protocol. The medical examiner's office is also planning to conduct an autopsy to determine how that woman died.
A Waterville man is facing murder charges following a shooting in February. Maine State Police say detectives arrested 20-year-old Tyler Curian Friday and charged him with murder, manslaughter, and possession of a firearm by a prohibited person. Police say the arrest stems from a February 19th shooting on Grove Street. Police say 22-year-old Justin Iraola died as a result of the shooting. An autopsy ruled the death a homicide. Curian was taken to the Kennebec County Jail and is being held without bail.
An Albion man is dead following a crash Friday night. Maine State Police say troopers responded to a report of a motor vehicle crash on the East Benton Road at around 7:41 on Friday night. Police say 53-year-old James McGarry was heading southbound when the Dodge pickup truck he was driving left the roadway and struck a rock. Police say life-saving measures were attempted, but McGarry ultimately succumbed to his injuries. That crash remains under investigation.
2 people were reportedly rescued after a car ended up in the water in Howland. There aren't many details, but according to local residents, the vehicle landed on the edge of a river near one of the town's boat ramps. At this point, it's still unclear how it happened. The residents say 2 people were inside the vehicle at the time and both were brought to the local hospital. We'll have more information as it becomes available.
An arrest has been made, and authorities say there is no risk to the public following an incident in Plymouth on Friday. The Penobscot County Sheriff's Office says authorities were managing a critical incident on the Clark Road in Plymouth that involved the road being blocked off and also led to a shelter-in-place order for local neighbors. One home immediately in the vicinity was evacuated. Just before 1 o'clock on Saturday morning, the shelter-in-place order was lifted. Authorities say there is no risk to the public along with the arrest. Authorities say the incident concluded with a yellow flag process in that case.
Maine gun safety advocates are launching a new campaign, and if they succeed, then next November, voters could decide whether to implement a red flag law. Our Augusta reporter Corey Bichard spoke with the executive director leading that charge to learn more.
The Safe Schools, Safe Communities initiative will save lives.
Nicole Palmer is the executive director of the Maine Gun Safety Coalition, the group working towards a citizens' referendum to help create a red flag law, otherwise known as an extreme risk protection order here in Maine. Palmer says the Lewiston Commission's report highlighted the failures of Maine's current yellow flag law.
Extreme risk protection orders will allow both families and law enforcement to petition the court to temporarily restrict someone's access to dangerous weapons while they're in crisis. And we're doing this because family members are usually the first to know when their loved one is in crisis.
Last legislative session, Palmer and other advocates failed to get a proposed red flag law over the finish line, so they're trying to bring the vote to the people.
The ballot initiative is about giving Maine peoples the opportunity to make sure that their voices are heard on this issue. And we know that the vast majority of Mainers want for family members to be able to initiate the extreme risk protection order process. The way that we are going to go about this is by having volunteers. We're hoping to have 500 volunteers actually on election day collecting signatures at the polls.
Palmer and her volunteers will need to gather 75,000 signatures in order to qualify for next year's ballot in November 2025. Palmer knows this will likely face pushback from both in-state and out-of-state opponents.
The gun lobby has already spent considerable money here in the state of Maine trying to prevent the passage of responsible gun safety legislation. I'm sure that this will be no different, but I think there's a difference now in that the people of Maine understand the stakes and are deeply invested in making sure that that our communities are safe.
In Augusta, I'm Corey Bichard for ABC7 and Fox 22 News.
Well, in other news this morning, 4 people have been arrested on drug trafficking charges following a traffic stop on Saturday night. According to the state police, a trooper stopped 35-year-old Daniel Pallas of Dresden on Route 201 in Fairfield for inoperable taillights. Just before midnight, the trooper reportedly recognized the driver and passenger, 30-year-old Maria Jackson of Richmond, as 2 individuals who fought with a Maine State Police trooper in August following an attempted arrest of Jackson as a result of a drug investigation. Paulus and Jackson were both arrested. 2 other passengers were also arrested in the case. 35-year-old Paul Duplin of Whitefield and 38-year-old David Levasseur of Lisbon. All are now facing aggravated drug trafficking charges, among other charges in that case.
An Auburn man was arrested Saturday after reportedly causing tens of thousands of dollars in damage to vehicles at a car dealership. According to the Auburn Police Department, police responded to 699 Center Street to find 25-year-old Skylar Henson swinging a weighted backpack, smashing the windows and hoods of multiple vehicles in the car lot. Police say Henson acted alone and was immediately detained. Police say an initial investigation indicates that Henson caused $80,000 to $90,000 in damage to 75 different vehicles. Henson was taken to the Androscoggin County Jail, where he's being held on a $5,000 cash bail. He's currently charged with aggravated criminal mischief.
A fire broke out at a business storefront in Brewer, but was quickly extinguished. It happened around 5 p.m. Sunday night on Center Street, which houses Brewer Nutrition Cafe, Caked Up Dessert Shop, and Perfect Coats Pet Grooming. According to the Brewer Fire Department, damage was limited to the exterior with no interior damage and no injuries reported. An off-duty firefighter jumped into action and helped knock down the flames before Brewer Fire Department arrived.
We showed up, there was no fire. There's an off-duty Brunswick firefighter happened along and hit the outside of it with the fire extinguisher, and then we just cleaned it up after that.
Well, employees from Brewer Nutrition say they didn't even know about the fire until someone walked in and told them.
She came in and she got everybody out, and then we all just ran outside to see the building up in flames. There was no smoke in there. I didn't smell anything. I wouldn't have known if she didn't tell me.
The Brewer Fire Department says the cause was likely accidental. A good stop there. Good thing that they got that building saved. They've been doing a lot of work on that building over the last several years, trying to create some new businesses there.
Right.
So it's nice it's still standing this morning.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. It seems like damage is minimal, like the chief said. All right, the time now is 6:10. Coming up next on Good Morning Maine, the 911 Center for Penobscot County is severely understaffed. We'll see how they're getting by with such low numbers.
But first, another check of that weather forecast. A mostly cloudy day ahead today with high temperatures around 64 degrees. Mostly cloudy tonight, lows dropping down to the upper 40s. Tomorrow, partly cloudy with highs near 69. We'll be right back.
When R&K Variety in Hamden wants to know the local forecast, they log on to foxbangor.com. R&K Variety is more than just a convenience store, offering fresh cooked meals that don't break the bank, gasoline for your mean machines, or beer and wine so your night is fine. Stop by today.
Join us every Friday this season as we celebrate the return to the gridiron with the most highlights, reactions, and analysis of your favorite teams. Catch Sports Blitz Friday at 11 on ABC 7. Sports Blitz is brought to you by Coastal Auto Parts, your local Napa Auto Parts dealer with 30 locations, owned and operated by a Maine family that cares. And by Dorsey Furniture, Route 1A Holden, where you'll find furniture that's in stock and ready for delivery.
Goose River Farm and Meat Store is conveniently located on Route 3 across from Hammond Lumber in Belfast. They have a wide selection of meat and poultry, including beef, pork, lamb, chicken, duck, rabbit, and turkey. Open Tuesday through Saturday.
This was built on land that was once a massive orange grove.
Is it Disneyland?
Yeah!
Person, place, or thing.
Weekdays at 10 on ABC 7.
All summer, you're invited to the People's Court Block Party gone wild.
She kicked in my door twice.
You're out of your mind.
Real cases, real litigants, real neighborhood drama.
You don't walk around in your underwear in the yard, do you?
Why not?
The People's Court.
All this week at 4 on ABC 7.
Welcome back, everyone. The Penobscot County 911 Center is the busiest in the state of Maine, and right now they're only operating with about 2/3 of a full staff. Our Callie Warren spoke with the dispatcher about how they're managing that shortage.
911, what is the address of the emergency?
Dispatchers are the very first point of contact in an emergency, and they play a vital role in ensuring prompt action by first responders. In Penobscot County, the Regional Communications Center is in charge of corresponding with 65 departments.
We dispatch for 65 agencies across Penobscot County, Hancock, and Aroostook counties.
And they're the busiest dispatch center in the state, with 70,000 calls answered yearly and a coverage area dispatchers say is the size of Rhode Island.
Penobscot Dispatch.
But they're operating with about 2/3 of a full staff, a shortage that is adding to the collective workload.
So currently we're at 19 dispatchers out of the 31 that are available. So we're short-staffed, yes, but with overtime opportunities, we're able to keep it going. So we are running slightly short on most of our crews, but we're making it work.
McCarthy says the staffing shortage is not impacting service for emergencies.
Yeah, we're not redirecting calls. We're still answering all the calls that we're supposed to be.
And local first responders say dispatchers are doing their best to fill in the gaps.
There's an emergency call of any severity. We are notified of that promptly. They get us out the door.
McCarthy says it's a rewarding career.
That is similar to a firehouse or at a police department. It's kind of a sisterhood, brotherhood kind of thing.
If you're interested in a dispatch position, visit our website at foxbangor.com for more information. In Bangor, Callie Warren, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
On a street less than a mile away from downtown Camden, residents are dealing with major health and safety concerns over a rat infestation. According to residents we spoke with, the rat infestation developed due to a man who lives on Chestnut Hill throwing birdseed off of his roof. They say what started with just birds being attracted to the seeds then led to rats. And residents say measures have been taken to try and stop him, going as far back as 2018. We tried to speak with town officials about what steps are being taken, and we were referred to Camden's fire chief, who was not available for comment.
Well, a farmer in Canaan who sells his produce for charity had some help from a Masonic youth group this year. Our Callie Warren also has that story.
Some of these kids have never been out in a pumpkin patch. They find out that pumpkins are not just pretty, they're heavy.
These young men are WVII members, a Masonic organization for teens and young adults. They're spending their Sunday picking hundreds of pumpkins for a cause.
It's definitely an interesting experience picking the pumpkins for the first time. It's definitely showing a lot more that I can do with my life instead of sitting home playing video games or something.
These kids are doing a whole lot more than just getting their hands dirty. They're helping one local farmer give back to the community. Danny Ring is the owner of Ring Family Farm, and he's been donating his profits to the Make-A-Wish Foundation since 2010, totaling over $180,000.
We do this year round for Make-A-Wish, so we do sleigh rides in the winter, we try to. This year we're going to do a festival of trees also. It's all for Make-A-Wish. You got to give back, we have to.
Actually, this is the first year Dan's asked for help. Dan's always done this all on his own, but he's had some health problems over the last year or so. And so he reached out for some help, and fortunately, he asked us DMLA to do it.
Volunteers came from all over the state to help out.
We've got kids from all over. The DMLA is related to Mason, so they're not necessarily farm kids, but they could be. They might be from the city, they might be from the country, but they're all out here today working together to accomplish a goal for a good cause.
In Canaan, Callie Warren, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
What a nice thing that the family's doing there.
Yeah, those are some nice looking pumpkins.
A Ring Family Farm will host more events to support Make-A-Wish this fall and winter. You can visit our website to learn more about that. I loved hearing from Mr. Ring there saying, you just got to do it.
Right.
You got to donate, you
right.
know, so good for him.
They're all helping out the community.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, the time now is 6:17. After the break, September is Suicide Awareness Month, and hundreds of people came out for the annual Out of the Darkness walk to prevent suicide.
We'll take you there as Good Morning Maine continues.
After an accident, the insurance company often wants to rush you into accepting their fair offer. Don't sign away your rights.
I didn't trust the insurance company.
They were wanting to settle fast and cheap. How much is your case worth? It's probably worth more than you've been told. I called Joe.
I found out what my case was really worth.
Say yes to maximum compensation, to everything you deserve. Call the firm that has been getting justice for Mainers for 50 years.
Tell them you mean business.
When the Coach House Restaurant wants to know the local forecast, they log on to foxbangor.com. The Coach House Restaurant, family dining at its best with fine home-cooked meals, delicious homemade desserts, and a large menu of tasty offerings for breakfast, lunch, or dinner.
When Rowell's Garage in Dover Foxcroft wants to know the local forecast, they log on to foxbangor.com. Rowell's Garage has been serving customers in the greater Dover Foxcroft region since 1946. Our goal is not just selling you a vehicle, but also giving you quality service to maintain your vehicle at peak performance.
The last few years have been tough. Biden and Kamala's inflation is crushing working families, and Jared Golden is making things worse. In Washington, Jared Golden voted with Biden and Harris to raise taxes on middle-class families, and he supported their new energy tax that is driving up our heating costs. Biden and Harris changed Jared Golden. Now he's just another tax and spend politician who sells out Mainers.
Restoration PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Hundreds walked in Bangor on Saturday to honor loved ones lost to suicide and those battling mental health issues.
Our Callie Warren takes us to the annual Out of the Darkness walk.
it's okay to not be okay. Mental health is a huge issue.
To honor Suicide Prevention Month, over 400 individuals came together at the Bangor waterfront on Saturday, walking to prevent suicide and raising almost $30,000 for prevention and awareness efforts.
When we saw the crowd of 400 plus people walk out and onto the main street, talking about suicide prevention, marching it for people that they love, marching for people that they love who are currently struggling. It's just such a beautiful event.
Instead of a traditional finish line, participants walked over dozens of stars with handwritten messages to lost loved ones.
Really touching to see everybody and hear their stories and just know that, we're not alone.
Serving as a reminder that every single participant has their own story.
Today we are walking in the Out of the Darkness walk in honor of my dad, Jim Ellis, and my husband, Tristan Maniscalco. It's nice to be with people who understand what you're going through and seeing the support that it provides.
Those who took part in the event say it encourages other people to reach out when they need help.
I also have had similar struggles due to postpartum depression. So the reason why I'm here is I just want people to know that the stigma, there shouldn't be a stigma. It's okay that you're not okay. It's okay to ask for help.
To reach the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, call or text 988. For more resources for those impacted by suicide, visit our website at foxbangor.com.
So often, folks who do choose to take their own life believe it's the only option, and there's so many more options. Life is so beautiful.
In Bangor, Callie Warren, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Boy, it's touched so many families out there.
I know, and it can seem like there aren't any options. As that last person said, there are. There is no shame in reaching out for help. In fact, it is so brave and honorable, and it's something that just has to be done. And it's an important thing to do.
One of my best childhood friends committed suicide, and I just wish he would have called. I would have done anything, jumped through hoops to make a difference there, but didn't make the call. So you got to be able to reach out.
Right. I know. I think a lot of people have that same thought.
Yeah.
All right. The time now is 6:21.
Let's get a full look at our weather forecast.
Alrighty, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by SR1 Companies. Visit SR1 in Herman, Turner, Manchester, and Orono for the best prices on trailers, campers, tractors, heavy equipment, and more. SR1 Companies, where New England's largest selection meets unbeatable prices. Already, some areas of dense fog in parts of Washington County this morning. We'll get this out of here as the day progresses on. We'll also be watching for some clouds that will be entering the picture, too. Small credit advisories along the coast being indicated right about in here. That expires at 8 p.m. as we head towards a Tuesday. High surf advisories further off towards the south and west, and now will expire at 8 p.m. tonight. Wave heights very active out there. Look at this buoy right about in here. We're picking up to 15-foot wave heights, while 6 to 8-foot wave heights being indicated right about in here. So that's why we have advisories indicated along the southwestern parts of the state. But for now, on land, not looking too bad. Not a lot of cloud cover, at least at this moment in time, but there will be more clouds on the way as the day progresses on. We're seeing some rain further off towards the west. This will fizzle out as it pushes off towards the east, but the clouds will be holding together, so we will be under a mostly cloudy sky moving forward. Futurecast showing that mostly cloudy sky that will be on the way for us today, and those clouds will also continue into parts of tonight and even through parts of Tuesday morning. But notice by Tuesday afternoon, we'll get most of the clouds out of here, so Tuesday afternoon we'll be under a partly cloudy sky with more clouds on the way yet again. Maybe areas of dense fog Tuesday night and the parts of Wednesday morning. Our average high temperature should be 68 degrees. We'll be in the mid-60s today, so a little bit below normal. Upper 60s for you Tuesday, mid-60s again Wednesday, lower 60s Thursday. We're back in the middle to upper 60s Friday into Saturday. And then here we are, some lower 70s as we head towards your Sunday. And we've been enjoying the fall colors lately here across our neck of the woods, and they're expanding ever so more further down toward the south. We're seeing some more coverage across the northern and northwestern parts of the state, with most of the state seeing at least some kind of color, at least at this point. So a forecast coming up for today showing mid-60s, mostly cloudy, northeast wind at at about 5 miles per hour. Coming up for tonight, upper 40s, a little bit cooler under a mostly cloudy sky with the wind overall looking nice and calm. And for tomorrow, upper 60s, partly cloudy, and that east wind at about 5 miles per hour. Alrighty, let's check out your extended forecast brought to you by SR1 Companies. Mostly cloudy on Wednesday with highs in the mid-60s. Rain moves in Thursday with highs in the low 60s. And the rain continues Friday with highs in the mid-60s.
Driving the Nissan Rogue with Google built in is like...
Hey Google, turn on Rocky's Food.
The ultimate connection. Drive the award-winning Nissan Rogue today.
Get 0% financing for 36 months on the Rogue Platinum.
Something big is happening on Sylvan Road in Bangor. It's the big grand opening at the new Coastal Auto Parts store and warehouse. Saturday, October 5th is the big day. See the Crush Station monster truck. Stop by for food. Take advantage of great deals and more. DIYers, make sure to visit the Milwaukee Tent Sale for money-saving specials. It's a big place. It's a big deal. It's the new Coastal Auto Parts store grand opening. Saturday, October 5th from 8 to 3 on 200 Sylvan Road, Bangor. Come see us.
The stars are shining on GMA this week. Kristen Bell and Adam Brody, Kate Winslet, Uzo Aduba, Shailene Woodley, Niecy Nash, Divine Joy Randolph, Javier Bardem. New kids on the block this week on
Good Morning America! Mainers have been setting lobster traps for generations. But less than 2 years ago, they were this close to going out of business because of new regulations from Washington. Then Jared Golden stood up to Joe Biden and his own party to protect our way of life. Today, we are still fishing thanks to Jared. Some say Jared's gone Washington. It's true. He's gone there to tell the DC elites not to mess with us.
I'm Jared Golden, and I approve this message.
The Farmer's Table in Corinna brings you outstanding breakfasts, lunches, and dinners made from farm-grown fresh ingredients. Dinner specials are available every day. Enjoy our homemade desserts, and above all, bring your appetite to the Farmer's Table in Corinna.
Driving the Nissan Rogue with Google built in is like...
Hey Google, turn on Rocky's Food.
The ultimate connection. Drive the award-winning Nissan Rogue today.
Get 0% financing for 36 months on the Rogue Platinum.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
Welcome back, everyone. A manhunt is underway in Birmingham, Alabama after a mass shooting late Saturday night. The gunfire erupted just after 11 p.m. in a popular nightlife district, killing at least 4 people and wounding 18 others. Police are still looking for multiple suspects who they say began shooting into a crowd of people who were just standing on a sidewalk. Police believe the shooters were targeting one of the victims who died. Police also believe Glock switches were used in the shooting, which converts a normal handgun into a machine-style weapon. Birmingham's mayor is now calling to ban Glock switches and is asking state lawmakers for help.
The Middle East teeters on the brink of a larger escalation as Hezbollah launches more than 100 aerial attacks on Israel, and the IDF strikes back in response. After a week in which thousands of Hezbollah fighters were injured, top commanders were killed, Israel's chief of staff says if Hezbollah doesn't understand now, it will get another blow until it does. Rocket barrages came at Israel all of Saturday night and into Sunday morning with great intensity. And that was followed by attack drones entering Israeli airspace. And the Israeli Air Force increased attacks in southern Lebanon. The IDF says they hit some 400 rocket launchers aimed at Israel. Israel's chief of staff says the IDF has many capabilities that have not yet been operated.
Well, a plant on the site of the nation's worst nuclear accident will be powering AI for Microsoft. Fox Business correspondent Jeff Flock has those details.
Before there was Chernobyl, before there was Fukushima, there was this, 3 Mile Island. Perhaps on the left side of your screen you see the cooling towers from Reactor 2. That's the one that melted down in March of 1979, spewing radioactivity into the environment around us, causing the evacuations of thousands of people. On the other side of the screen would be Reactor 1. That wasn't affected, was restarted, but then shut down again in 2019 because it wasn't making any money. But now, with money from Microsoft, which has a voracious appetite for power because of artificial intelligence, they have agreed to buy the power from that reactor, if it's restarted, for 20 years. And so it will be. By 2028, it should be up and running again. Nuclear power again coming from 3 Mile Island. Nuclear power advocates saying nuclear is a lot safer now than it was in 1979.
I mean, just like our phones, right? There's an evolution, a generational upgrade with every technology. And so the restart of 3 Mile Island is a huge market signal because we have reactors that are currently shut down that can be restarted.
Among them, the Palisades power plant in Covert, Michigan, which just got a $1.5 billion federal loan to restart. It becoming the first U.S. nuclear power plant to be restarted after being shut down. At Microsoft, they say they are seeking to enable a decarbonized grid for our company, our customers, and the world. This will bring a significant supply of net new, reliable, carbon-free electricity to the power grid, recognizing the importance of nuclear energy. It also answers a question from some critics about artificial intelligence and that voracious need for power, taking power away from the grid and perhaps driving demand up and costs for local consumers. This is a new addition to the grid, and Microsoft and Constellation Energy that operates the plant say that's the future. At 3 Mile Island, I'm Jeff Flock with the Fox Business Network.
Very interesting.
I know. This is applicable to a lot of these places along the coast because nuclear power plants, as we've seen, are often situated near coastal areas. I mean, we have one that's not in use in mid-coast Maine.
Wiscasset, they need that cold water to keep things cooled, but it'll be interesting to see what happens. It is promising with the new technology. Hopefully they'll become safer, though. A lot of people are calling for nuclear power these days.
I know, even if it wasn't for AI, and AI sure takes a lot of energy to be able to create that type of stuff. Okay, right after the break, we have our Market Watch segment coming up. It's kind of the best part about Mondays these days.
Yeah, we look forward to those. We'll find out what we've been finding on Facebook Marketplace. When we come back, don't go away.
Roto-Rooter has served the greater Bangor area and beyond for 35 years, offering plumbing, hydrojetting, snaking, descaling, video inspection, and grease interceptor cleaning services. For all your residential and commercial clogs, call Roto-Rooter today, 990-1234.
And away go troubles down the drain. Roto-Rooter.
Whether you're thinking of getting your first tattoo or building onto your collection of skin art,
Disconnected Tattoo and Art Company in Ellsworth provides the safest and most comfortable tattoo and piercing experience.
at Disconnected Tattoo, we'll combine your vision with our art to create something special that will last the test of time.
Don't trust your personal body art to anyone else.
Call Disconnected Tattoo today to schedule your consultation.
Or check out our Facebook page.
Disconnected Tattoo and Art Company in Ellsworth.
Chevy gets it. I want it, and I can afford it can be one and the same. With Chevy Trax, a car and driver 10 best. The rugged Chevy Trailblazer. And Chevy Colorado, Motor Trend Truck of the Year. Chevy, all you want is all within reach. Connected by OnStar.
Qualified lessees can get this 2024 Trailblazer LT for around $249 a month. Visit your Maine Chevy dealer.
Backed by popular demand, the Lucerne Inn in Dedham presents its amazing Sunday brunch. Join us every Sunday from 9 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. for a culinary experience like no other. Indulge in an exquisite selection of dishes, all while enjoying breathtaking views. Seating is limited, so reservations are recommended, but walk-ins are always welcome. The Lucerne Inn Sunday Brunch, where great food meets a spectacular view. Call today to reserve your spot.
You're watching ABC7 Bangor.
Welcome back, everyone. Today is Monday, September 23rd, 2024, and it is also National Family Day.
This holiday puts the spotlight on the people that help make our lives meaningful. Families come in different forms, but what they all share is unconditional love and support. This is a day to reach out to those family members and let them know how much you think of them, even if your family involves people you've chosen instead of people who share your blood.
Yeah, we pick our families these days in a lot of cases. So.
Yeah.
All right, time for history. Moving on now, back in 1780, British spy John Andre was captured along with the papers revealing Benedict Arnold's plot to surrender West Point to the British. In 1806, the Lewis and Clark expedition returned to St. Louis more than 2 years after setting out for the Pacific Northwest. Their historic journey lasted 28 months and covered 8,000 miles. They received a real hero's welcome when they returned. The entire town turned out. In 1889, Nintendo Copai, I think that's how you pronounce it, Copai, was produced and founded, and they founded it just to market a playing card game at the time. It is now one of the biggest video game makers in the entire world. Nintendo, who would have thought? They started back in the 1800s.
Just games.
And and in 1846, astronomer Johann Gottfried Gale discovered the planet Neptune.
Cool. In 1950, the U.S. Congress adopted the Internal Security Act, which called for the registration of communists. Leaders of the Communist Party vowed never to register, and the legislation was later ruled unconstitutional by the Supreme Court. In 1957, 9 black students who entered Little Rock Central High School in Arkansas were forced to withdraw because of a white mob outside. In 1962, ABC's first color TV series, The Jetsons, premiered on television.
I love The Jetsons, and I thought by now, because of The Jetsons, that we'd all have flying cars and things like that. I don't know if you ever watched it growing up, but it was great.
No, I mean, I think a lot of people thought that about hoverboards and stuff too, which we have a version of, but they're not hovering boards.
Yeah, I know.
There's a little wheel.
We still have a way to go.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know if I want them.
No, I'd kill myself on one of those things.
Right.
Yeah.
In 2018, Tiger Woods won the Tour Championship in Atlanta following 4 back surgeries. It was his 18th victory of his PGA Tour career and the first in 5 years.
80th victory. You know, that was a lot of victories.
Did I read it wrong?
Yeah, I think you said 18th, but
yeah,
I got your back.
Okay,
just like you got my back.
Yeah.
Today's birthdays include rock superstar Bruce Springsteen, who is 75 years old today. Actor Jason Alexander George from Seinfeld is 65, and actor Anthony Mackie turns 46. You might recognize him from some of the Marvel movies. He's been doing a lot of neat things lately, too.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's a Jason Alexander quote for every time of the year.
Yeah.
My Seinfeld quote of the week right now is, "I'm shifting into soup mode."
Because
we're getting into that time of year. I made a soup on Saturday. But that's a quote. That's one of his quotes from Seinfeld.
I like George.
It's soup mode.
Yeah.
I'm shifting. Okay.
Soup weather is upon us, you know?
It is, thankfully.
You make a lot of soups all through the winter, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes, I mean, it's affordable. I can have like just carrots and celery in my fridge and be like, I can make a soup with this and maybe some other random
Warms
stuff.
your body and your soul.
Yeah. I had 3 bowls of soup yesterday.
Did you really?
It was so good.
Soup season is here.
Yeah, I made a French lentil.
Yum.
But yeah, 'tis the season. The weather is there. Let's get a look at that forecast with meteorologist Evan Biggs.
Alrighty, thank you very much. Happy Monday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by SR1 Companies. Visit SR1 in Herman, Turner, Manchester, and Orono for the best prices on trailers, campers, tractors, heavy equipment, and more. SR1 Companies, where New England's largest selection meets unbeatable prices. Already some areas of dense fog greeting us across parts of Washington County this morning. We'll get this fog out of here slowly but surely as we get the day going. We do have some clouds we'll also have to watch out for. We also have high surf advisories and small crowd advisories posted along the coast. Those are highlighted right about in here. This is a small crowd advisory, and that right there is the high surf advisory. The high surf advisory expires this evening further off to the south and west, with the small crowd advisory expiring at 8 p.m. as we head towards your Tuesday. Meanwhile, a quiet start in our neck of the woods this morning. Not a whole lot of cloud cover at this moment in time, but there will be more clouds on the way as the day progresses on. We're watching some activity further off towards the west. This will send some clouds in our direction, and later this week we will be watching for rain that will enter the picture too. Futurecast showing some clouds on the way today, maybe some sunshine peeking out at times. We'll hold on to the clouds overnight tonight. So moving forward, we'll have a little bit of wind on the way for us today, maybe up to around 5, maybe up to 10 miles per hour along the coast. Wind calms down tonight and not looking too bad for tomorrow either. The hourly forecast for the rest of the morning and afternoon period showing a mostly cloudy sky with temperatures in the 60s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up.
All right, it's my favorite time of Monday, Market Watch Mondays, where we look at local Facebook marketplace finds.
You never know what you're going to find on there. Sometimes it's the usual, but sometimes you can find some really unusual things.
And obscene.
Yeah. So we've got a few to show you this morning. Let's get things underway.
Oh, goodness gracious. Beer tap handles for shift knobs. I think somebody's suggesting that you could use it as a shift knob. I feel like if you get pulled over, that's going to be a red flag.
Probably is, but you know, some people don't care. You know,
right.
as long as they're
well,
not drinking and driving.
If you haven't been drinking.
Yeah. I've had some buddies do similar things.
Right.
One guy had a ski pole handle on his stick shift.
It's creative.
Yeah, if you like that kind of thing.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, $25 a pop, not bad. Cool. Celtic Witchcraft Wheel of the Year, $12 in Orono.
That's right up your alley there. You're interested in history and the witchcraft history and all that kind of stuff.
Right? Yeah, it is interesting.
Yeah.
Cool, $12 for the pagan iconography.
All right, let's move on to the next one. What do we have next? Oh, it's an old fire truck. 1963 American LaFrance fire engine. You can buy that in Clinton. Looks like it's pretty much all together there too.
Huh.
Sit in somebody's barn down there perhaps?
LA France fire engine. Interesting.
Yeah. I had a friend who had a bunch of property and a bunch of buildings. He bought his own fire truck just to leave it there on the property in case.
Well, yeah.
So there's that.
I was wondering, oh, that is cool. I haven't seen anything like that from the front. That's something that I hope somebody would buy and put in like a coal land transportation museum or something, like donate it or make your own museum.
$2,500, you could do that.
Not too bad.
All right, and I think we have one more.
Lego Man costume. That's, okay, $20 for a Halloween costume in Palmyra. Is this for adults or children? I want to see the mask. That looks quite intimidating.
Looks like a kid's costume, maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah, hard to say.
This might scare me if I see it.
I like the little hands, though.
Yeah, right, right.
Well,
you need other Lego pieces. Cool.
$20. Take care of your Halloween decoration, your costume this year.
I went to Goodwill yesterday. It was pretty busy with folks looking at Halloween stuff. So it's a good time to sell that stuff on Facebook Marketplace, too.
We'll have another fresh look at the marketplace during the next hour on Fox 22. I saw one over the weekend. Somebody was selling a Civil War drum.
Cool.
I'll have to download that one. We'll add it into the thing.
Yeah, for the right collector. My favorite find of the weekend was this pink sectional, huge pink sectional couch. I was like, I like the type of person that would put a pink couch in their home.
Big hot pink?
Yes,
really
it was
bright?
it was like baby pink.
Yeah, to each their own.
Right.
Yeah.
I like it. All right, right after the break, Tyler Cruz will have the latest with sports.
Don't go away.
Maine Paving is Eastern and Central Maine's go-to for all things paving. Maine Paving specializes in commercial or residential paving, grading, seal coating, and crack filling. And get this, refer someone that schedules a job and receive a $250 Visa gift card. Currently booking for this year.
On the Road, broadcasting the news at 6, live from Ellsworth, is sponsored by Complete Tire Service Incorporated, serving customers in Ellsworth, Bar Harbor, and Blue Hill, as well as surrounding areas, with automotive repair and new tires. Shirley's Yarns and Gifts, yarns, cake decorations, unique gifts, jams and jellies, books by local authors, and other art supplies. And Bucksport Regional Health Center, providing health care and more in the Bucksport-Ellsworth region, celebrating 50 years of service in 2024.
I'm a Republican.
I'm a Republican.
A Maine Republican.
Not one of those Washington Republicans like Mike Johnson.
They want to slash Social Security and Medicare.
And raise the retirement age to 70.
They handpicked Austin Theriault to run for Congress.
And they'll control him in Washington.
But Jared Golden works for us.
Jared will stand up to both parties to protect Maine seniors.
We can trust Jared. He fights for us.
I'm Jared Golden, and I approve this message.
Maine Paving is Eastern and Central Maine's go-to for all things paving. Maine Paving specializes in commercial or residential paving, grading, seal coating, and crack filling. And get this, refer someone that schedules a job and receive a $250 Visa gift card. Currently booking for this year.
4 cadets with the Waterville Composite Squadron Civil Air Patrol were just promoted. We'll take you to the ceremony tonight on ABC 7 News at 6.
Welcome back in, folks. It's a University of Maine Field show, and we'll start with Maine football as they travel down to Merrimack College looking to rebound after 2 straight losses. Let's get right into this one. Merrimack quickly went up 10-0 with a fumble recovery for a touchdown, then a field goal. But this catch here by Mo Efren on the sideline would get his team going. Just a massive catch with the defender essentially hanging right there on him, and that would set up a touchdown pass from Carter Peavy to Mason Gilbert right here. The bucket and the foul, and one for Gilbert. What a catch over the defender. That would get the Black Bears on the board, and Merrimack would force a safety and score a field goal next. Just a chaotic first half for the Black Bears. But late in the second quarter, Merrimack trying to go up 2 scores. It's Devin Vaught with a massive interception to stop the Warriors' drive, keeping this one 15-6 at half. And beginning of the half, it's A.K. Alhaji Kamara snags an interception to put the Black Bear offense in plus territory. And shortly after that, Peavy rolls to his right, finds Cooper Heisey here all the way across the field. What a throw from Hash to the numbers as Heisey dives into the end zone there. And then a couple defensive stops by the Black Bears would set up this Joey Bryson field goal that would put the Black Bears up 16-15. Yet another forced punt would put Peavy in position to connect with Joey Gillette on the deep bomb. Number 2, I'm afraid you just got mossed, sir. That would put the Black Bears down the field, and this would set up a Tavion Banks touchdown run. And shortly after, a Joey Bryson field goal would ice the game for the Black Bears, and then it's Xavier Holmes right here with the sack. Black Hole ending the game as they started it. Just an outstanding effort. It was a season-changing second half from the Black Bears as they finished the game on a 26-5 run, finally settling in and playing some complimentary football. They'll travel to Albany next week. Maine and Merrimack must have some sort of deal going on because the Black Bear field hockey team also squared off with the Warriors Saturday in Orono. Just like the football team, they were looking to rebound after 2 losses in a row. Maine here working the ball down the field. Kate Richardson set up Mae Fogarty for the shot, but that right there is blocked. But Olivia Giannetti finds the juicy rebound to put the Black Bears on top 1-0. Shortly after, Zoe Ferber fires the ball right here towards the net. It pops up and Fogarty slaps it into the back of the net. We need to take another look at that one. Look at the instincts from Fogarty right here. The awareness to hit the ball over her shoulder as it's at eye level. That would put the Black Bears up 2-0. Maine would lead 3-0 at the half, and Poppy Lambert would put the cherry on top of this one, burying a penalty stroke top shelf as Maine would allow 0 shots on goal and win the game 6-0. It was also head coach Josette Babineau's 200th all-time win, one of only 50 active coaches in the country to reach that milestone. Here's what she had to say after the game.
Strength of the program, the consistency of the program. I came into a good program, and I just feel fortunate that we've been able to have that consistency for the most part. Every season we have a competitive team, and just great players, always great people on and off the playing field. So it just makes me think about that and appreciate that.
It also happened to be Alumni Day for the Maine field hockey program as alum from all eras made their way to Orono. Here's what former captain Hannah Abbott had to say about her coach's 200th win.
It means so much. Coach has been with the program for so long. She really put Maine field hockey on the map. She does everything that she possibly can for her players, and as hearing her talk, all she does is give credit to her players, but she deserves a ton of credit.
Not just Coach's 200th win overall, her 200th win overall, and in the Black Bear uniform all in one place. That is special from Coach Babineau right there. We'll stay in Orono and check in with Maine hockey now as a couple former Black Bear goaltenders came back a few weeks ago at the Alfond. Jeremy Swayman and Victor Osman returned to Orono in late August to train and take a tour of the current construction on the Sean Wall Center. Osman is gearing up for Seattle Kraken training camp, and even though Swayman and the Bruins still haven't come to an agreement on a contract, he still took the time to train with Osman on the ice. Maine head coach Ben Barr says it was great having them back on campus and believes if they're doing anything right, more players will make visits like this in the future.
Hopefully more players come through here that end up playing at the highest levels like those guys, and that means that we're probably making our players better, and we're hopefully winning games, and that's what a healthy program in Hockey East is doing. So it's great that those guys come back and help us out. If we keep going, that'll happen more often, hopefully.
That is all the time we have for sports. We'll be right back after the break.
What do you call a no-show at work?
A deadbeat.
Someone who'd jack up costs for seniors.
Dead wrong.
What do you call both?
Austin Terrio.
Terrio skipped work, still took his paycheck. Now he wants to go to Congress. But there he'll give power to politicians who want to cut the Social Security and Medicare Mainers earned. Then let big insurance charge seniors 5 times more for care. No-show Terrio?
No way.
Just no.
HMP is responsible for the content of this ad.
Embrace the journey, where each moment turns into a cherished memory. Ensuring life's journey and experiences along the way. AAA, we're always with you.
All That's Metal in Herman is ready to be your trusted partner for your metal roofing and wall panel projects. Our high-quality metal roofing and wall panel systems are offered in a variety of colors and styles and backed up with a 40-year warranty. We manufacture standard as well as custom sizes in our facility in Herman. Homeowners and contractors, elevate your structures with our market-leading metal roofing and wall systems. Stop by our retail store at 893 Coldbrook Road in Herman to see our selections and to discuss your upcoming project. All That's Metal, the best roof and wall systems on the market.
A local 11-year-old raised over $500 for the Bangor Humane Society on Saturday. Don Venziano is the Humane Society's youngest volunteer, and he's been helping out there since the age of 8. His annual Whoopies for Whiskers bake sale typically sells out, but this year he did it twice. And he says he does it all for local animals in need.
There are always animals in need, and not every animal gets the chance to have a forever loving home. So the animals need that here, and just try and do your best and give them all you can while they're here.
Well, Saturday's fall themed sale featured apple cider and pumpkin whoopie pies. Don says he plans to do more fall bake sales in the coming years. Good
Yum.
for him.
I love a whoopie pie.
Yeah, I have a feeling his mom helped out big time with that, with the
Yes.
making the whoopie pies. And
Yeah.
Don's been known to volunteer at the Coal and Transportation Museum too.
Yeah.
Just, both our kids are doing really great.
They're a busy family.
Yeah.
All right, now here's meteorologist Evan Biggs with one final look at our full forecast.
Alrighty, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by SR1 Companies. Visit SR1 in Herman, Turner, Manchester, and Orono for the best prices on trailers, campers, tractors, heavy equipment, and more. SR1 Companies, where New England's largest selection meets unbeatable prices. Already, some areas of dense fog in parts of Washington County this morning. We'll get this out of here as the day progresses on. We'll also be watching for some clouds that will be entering the picture, too. Small credit advisories along the coast being indicated right about in here. That expires at 8 p.m. as we head towards a Tuesday. High surf advisories further off towards the south and west, and now will expire at 8 p.m. tonight. Wave heights very active out there. Look at this buoy right about in here, picking up to 15-foot wave heights, while 6 to 8-foot wave heights being indicated right about in here. So that's why we have advisories indicated along the southwestern parts of the state. But for now, on land, not looking too bad. Not a lot of cloud cover, at least at this moment in time, but there will be more clouds on the way as the day progresses on. We're seeing some rain further off towards the west. This will fizzle out as it pushes off towards the east, but the clouds will be holding together, so we will be under a mostly cloudy sky moving forward. Futurecast showing that mostly cloudy sky that will be on the way for us today, and those clouds will also continue into parts of tonight and even through parts of Tuesday morning. But notice by Tuesday afternoon, we'll get most of the clouds out of here, so Tuesday afternoon we'll be under a partly cloudy sky with more clouds on the way yet again. Maybe areas of dense fog Tuesday night into parts of Wednesday morning. Our average high temperature should be 68 degrees. We'll be in the mid-60s today, so a little bit below normal. Upper 60s for you Tuesday, mid-60s again Wednesday, lower 60s Thursday. We're back in the middle to upper 60s Friday into Saturday. And then here we are, some lower 70s as we head towards your Sunday. And we've been enjoying the fall colors lately here across our neck of the woods, and they're expanding ever so more further down toward the south. We're seeing some more coverage across the northern and northwestern parts of the state, with most of the state seeing at least some kind of color, at least at this point. So a forecast coming up for today showing mid-60s, mostly cloudy, northeast wind at at about 5 miles per hour. Coming up for tonight, upper 40s, a little bit cooler under a mostly cloudy sky with the wind overall looking nice and calm. And for tomorrow, upper 60s, partly cloudy, and an east wind at about 5 miles per hour. Alrighty, let's check out your extended forecast brought to you by SR1 Companies. Mostly cloudy on Wednesday with highs in the mid-60s. Rain moves in Thursday with highs in the low 60s. And the rain continues Friday with highs in the mid-60s.
Angus is everywhere.
He's everywhere.
He's everywhere. Angus gets things done for me.
Angus does what he says.
He is an independent voice.
He's a real person.
Who works with both sides of the aisle.
Angus is a true leader.
He's always done the right thing.
Angus is there for small business owners like me.
Thanks to Angus, something finally got done on drug prices.
We need to send Angus back to D.C. to fight for our freedoms.
Angus has always been there for veterans like me. A lot of politicians talk about helping veterans, but Angus actually does it.
The only real way to get things done is to listen to each other and to work together. There's still plenty of work to be done. The rising cost of living, housing, fighting for our freedoms and our democracy. I'm Angus King, and I approve this message because there's plenty more to do. Let's get after it.
We the people, hand in hand.
That nip in the air can only mean one thing. Dorsey's fall introductions have arrived, and we need to make room. Hundreds of items have been marked down store-wide. Flexsteel Thornton sofa in a great quality Revolution fabric, list price $23.99, now only $8.99. Power reclining lift chair that lists for $10.99, now only $5.99. Dorsey's fall clearance is a perfect time to get any room in your home ready for the winter months. Dorsey Furniture, Route 1A, Holden.
Harris Lumber is locally owned and has been serving the Pequot region for more than 50 years. See them for all your projects, big or small. Customer service is their #1 priority. And with a full line of lumber and hardware items, they can also deliver to your job site. Harris Lumber, Milo.
You know how when you're living your life and then all of a sudden you're out there helping cops solve crimes? That's me.
That big brain of hers is going to help us close a lot of cases.
Got a dead body. Gotta go.
High Potential, new Tuesday on ABC.
The annual fall rite of swilling that beer is now here, and there's plenty to cheers in Germany. You like that little rhyme?
I like that.
That was kind of corny.
That was bad.
Revel rousers everywhere are tapping into beer taps and their inner party animal spirits with the annual 2-week Oktoberfest. The festival officially arrived Saturday in Munich, Germany. Opening 16 days of festivals, folk singing, German food, and crazy big beer steins filled to the brim. 6 million visitors will come, and they'll shell out $15 to $17 for a 1-liter mug of beer. The first Oktoberfest was in 1810, celebrated the marriage of Crown Prince Ludwig of Bavaria to Teresa of Saxony. Cool, I've always wanted to go to Oktoberfest.
I would love to go there myself. What a good time. Well, finally, a Virginia woman has set a new fastest known time for hiking the entirety of the Appalachian Trail. Wow. According to a Facebook post on Sunday, hiker Tara Dower completed the trail with a final time clocking in at just 40 days.
Wow.
The Appalachian Trail's northernmost point is, of course, here in Maine at Mount Katahdin and stretches more than 2,100 miles to Springer Mountain down in Georgia. According to the Appalachian Trail Conservancy, it takes the average hiker between 5 and 7 months to hike that trek. She did it in what I say, 40 days.
Yeah.
So she must have
wow.
just been booking.
She's an athlete. Yeah. Good for her. All right, looks like we're running out of time. If you missed anything, head to foxbangor.com. We'll continue broadcasting on Fox 22.
A family-owned and operated business since 1953, Hammond Lumber Company recognizes the value of their team members and the importance of employee satisfaction. Hammond is honored to have been named one of the best places to work in Maine for the 4th consecutive year, and Hammond was once again selected as one of the best places to work in New Hampshire by Business New Hampshire magazine. Hammond is always looking for great people to join their team. To find your place on the Hammond team, click on the careers link at hammondlumber.com.
If you've been in an accident with a truck, making the wrong call can be costly. Evidence and witnesses can disappear. You need to stop that from happening. These are some of the most complicated cases for a law firm, but not if you call one that handles truck cases every day. Call a law firm with the resources, experience, and power to go after every dollar you deserve. If you're hurt in a truck accident, call Joe. The law offices of Joe Bornstein.
Tell them you mean business.
Pat's Pizza in Holden is not just a restaurant that serves delicious food and pizza. They also have an adjacent party and event room. Consider having your birthday or office party at Pat's Pizza. They have indoor golf, a pro shop, and a beautiful 9-hole golf course open for the season. Pat's Pizza, Holden.
Your local professional, eco-friendly office space partner is WVII Business Solutions, your one-stop shop to get the job done. Handling all your office furniture and printing machine needs at an affordable price. Offering full system integration into your workplace and local service on everything we sell. We can even remote monitor your system with just-in-time inventory and service need assessments. Little to no downtime gives you peace of mind. At WVII Business Solutions, your solution is only an email or a phone call away.
The Autumn Gold Festival is Ellsworth's annual fall celebration, organized by the Ellsworth Area Chamber of Commerce. From boat rides to carnival games, our car show to our golf tournament, and so much more. Come experience the Autumn Gold Festival while enjoying the splendor of fall in Ellsworth.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
Good morning, America. Overnight, a major escalation in the Middle East. Is all-out war next?
At FoxBangor.com, more people choose Good Morning Maine.
Hello, everyone. Today on Good Morning Maine, a woman is now facing manslaughter charges following a year-long investigation into the death of an infant.
Plus, a man caused nearly $100,000 worth of damage smashing cars at a car dealership.
And hundreds gathered on the Bangor waterfront over the weekend to join in the struggle against suicide.
Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Maine. I'm Emma Smith.
And I'm Craig Colson. Thank you for joining us. We'll have those stories and a lot more coming up. But first, a check of the forecast. Definitely feeling that change of the season. The arrival of fall occurred yesterday. Today, temperatures down into the 40s as we're heading off to work today.
I brought it up last hour. We'll see in the midpoint. It's George's birthday from Seinfeld. And my favorite George quote right now is, I'm shifting into soup mode. And that is the weather right now.